Hello everyone, this is Mr. Mahmood here, helping you do better in maths by giving you tips and tricks on how to revise and going through maths topics on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do consider subscribing. Now this video is on GCSE Maths revision. It is intended for Foundation GCSE Maths, but also it could benefit some higher students with the grade 4-5 question. So let's get on with it.
First question, simplifying algebraic expressions. So when we simplify algebraic expressions, we multiply the like terms. So 8 times minus 2 is minus 16, and f times e is ef. So the answer is minus 16 ef. Try to write the answer in alphabetical order. Next, write the number 0.00004598 in standard form. So as we can see, it's a very small number, so we've got an idea that the net power of 10 is going to be negative. So standard form rule, we know the number has to be between 1 and 10 and has to have a power of 10. So we need to move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places to the right to make the number 4.598, which is between 1 and 10. So that makes the number 4.598 times 10 to the power of. Now the power, because we move to the right, we're making a small number into a big number, our power is going to be negative. So moved it 5 places, so minus 5. Now remember, if you make a big number into a small number, that means you move the decimal to the left, that means the power will be a positive power. Write 4,745 to correct to the nearest 1,000. So we know we have units, tens, hundreds and thousands. So we need to round it to the nearest 1,000. So let's draw the line after the 4, which is our 1,000 digit. Look at the number after the line. Is 5 or over, so we need to add 1 to 4. So that makes the number 5, and the rest of the numbers become 0, so we round it to 5,000. Simplify. 8a take away 3a is 5a, and we add 2a to it, and 5a add 2a is 7a. Write 3/5 as a decimal. Now we know we can divide by 10, 100 and 1,000 very easily, so let's make the bottom number denominator into a 10, so we have to times it by 2. According to equivalent fraction rules, we need to multiply the numerator by 2 as well. So that will give an answer of 6 over 10, and 6 divided by 10 is 0.6. Work out 2 whole and 7ths added to 1 1/4. So adding fractions. Now there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can change the mixed number into improper fraction, or you can just add the wholes together and then add the 7th and 1/4 together, which is much easier and much quicker, and it saves you from writing out big numbers. Keeps it simple. So let's add 2 and 1 together first. So 2 add 1, which is 3, then add the 7th and 1/4 together. Find the equivalent fractions. So common denominator, 7 times 4 is 28. We had to times 7 by 4 to get to 28, so equivalent fraction rule, we have to times the numerator by 4 as well. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 7 is 28, so we have to times the numerator by 7 as well. 7 times 1 is 7. The both denominators are the same, so leave it as 28. And 4 add 7 is 11. So answer is 11 over 28. Now a common misconception is students will add 7 and 4, which gives you 11, and 1 add 1 is 2. So they'll get 2 out of 11. That's completely wrong. So avoid that mistake. Make sure you always make the denominators same, find the equivalent fraction, and then add the numerators. Never ever add the denominators. Next question, dividing fractions. So 1 and 1/5 divided by 3/4. When we're dividing and multiplying fractions, always change the mixed numbers into improper fractions. So 5 times 1 is 5, and add the 1 is 6. So 6/5. Dividing by 3/4. Use the rule. Keep the first one same. Flip the second fraction. So 3/4 becomes 4/3, and change the sign into multiplication sign. Now, according to multiplication of the fractions, we know that we multiply the numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator. To make it a little easier, what we can do is we can divide 6 by 2, so top and bottom by 3, and then 2 times 4 is 8, and 5 times 1 is 5. And don't forget to change it into a mixed number according to our question in its simplest form. So 5 goes into 8 once, 3 remainder, and the denominator stays the same. Now, the other way of doing this is, I'll carry on from here. So what I could do is 6 times 4 is 24, 5 times 3 is 15. Then you can simplify it. We know that 3 goes into 15, and 3 goes into 24. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So that's the other way of doing it. Now this method here is useful when you have really big numbers, so that you can simplify it first and then get your answer. That helps you save time and avoid big numbers. Okay, and then change it into mixed number, 1 whole and 3/5. Next question, find the size of angle ABG. Now when you get an angle question, always good to see what you've been given in the question. So we can see we have an isosceles triangle, because these two lines say these two sides are the same, so therefore these two angles are the same. And also we have a set of parallel lines, so we got these arrows and these two lines. That means we have a set of parallel lines. So in some point we might need to implement the angles in parallel lines rules. So let's have a look. We're finding angle ABG, this angle here. Now in order to find this angle, we might need to find this angle here as well. So let's have a look. First of all, let's find angle BGE. So angle BGE, this angle here. So angle BGE is going to be 65 as well, according to the isosceles triangle rule. So this is 65, this is 65 degrees. Always try to annotate on the actual diagram so you can actually see where you're heading with it. Now let's find the third angle now of the triangle. So GBE, so this angle here, GBE, so angle GBE is going to be 180, take away 65 and 65 degrees. So 180 take away 65 to 65 gives us 130. And that leaves us with 50 degrees. So this angle here is 50 degrees. BED, so this angle BED is equal to, added to angle ABE, all of this, so all of this angle and all of this adds up to 180. And according to angles in parallel line rules, we know that interior angles add up to 180 degrees. So we've got an interior angle here. So if you add these two and these two together, it should add up to 180 degrees. Now the problem is we already found this one, but we don't know what this one is. So in order to find this, we need to take away these three from 180. So angle ABG, so angle ABG is going to be equal to 180. I'm going to subtract all three of these angles, 38 plus 65 plus 50, so 180 minus 153 degrees, and that leaves us with 27 degrees. So our answer is 27 degrees. So the angle ABG is 27 degrees. Next, solve the simultaneous equations. Now we can see that on these two equations we don't have a term which is same, so we cannot eliminate any of them. So in order to eliminate one of them, we need to make one of the terms same. So let's multiply. We've got a 3y there, so you can either times this term by 5, the whole of the equation by 5, or you can times this top equation by 3, so that we can match the y terms the same. That'll become 3y. So let's multiply the first equation by 3, so I have to times 5x by 3, y by 3, and 21 by 3 as well. So that will give us 15x plus 3y is equal to 63, and leave the second equation same. X minus 3y is equal to 9. Now as we can see, the signs are different, so we're going to add, and this is the only way you can actually get rid of the 3y's. So 63 add 9 gives us 72. 3y, take away 3y, cancels out. 15x, add x is 16x. So 16x is equal to 72, divided by 16 both sides. X is equal to 72 over 16. Let's simplify the answer. That gives us, we can divide it by 8, top and bottom, numerator turn the denominator. That would give us x is equal to 9 over 2. And if you turn into a decimal, that gives us 4.5. Now our last step is to substitute x equals 4.5 into one of these equations that have been given. Now I would suggest maybe change it into a decimal, because when you change it into a fraction, if you're not very comfortable with adding, subtracting fractions, then you're going to make yourself life a bit more difficult. So always change it into decimal if you think that's easier, and if you're fine with fractions, you can leave it as fraction and add or subtract fractions. So let's substitute it into the first equation. So first equation is 5x plus y equals 21. Let's replace x with 4.5, so 5 times 4.5 plus y equals 21. 5 times 4.5 gives us 22.5 plus y equals 21, and subtract 22.5 from both sides, and that will give us y equals minus 1.5. So our values, x is equal to 4.5, y is equal to minus 1.5. Next, work out 15% of 180 grams. So let's work out first what 10% is. So we know to find 10%, we need to divide the amount by 10. So 180 divided by 10 is 18. To find 5%, we just have the 10% answer, gives us 9. Now we got 10 add 5, which is 15%, so we got 15% already, and 18 add 9, which is 27. Our answer is 27 grams. Next, solve. You can see there's a set of brackets there, so before you solve it, you can expand the brackets, or you can divide by 3 both sides and then solve it. I'll do both ways, so you get to see both ways. So let's expand the brackets first. So 3m minus 12, so 3m, 3 times minus 4 is minus 12, is equal to 21. Add 12 on both sides. That gives us 3m is equal to 33. Divided by 3 both sides, m is equal to 11. And let's do it by dividing by 3 first, without expanding the brackets. So we have 3 brackets m minus 4. Just write out the question again. So let's divide by 3 both sides. We can divide by 3 because it's 3 times m minus 4. So we can divide by 3. So that gives us 3 divided by 3 is 1. So it leaves us with m minus 4 equals 21 divided by 3 is 7. Now add 4 on both sides, because we need to get rid of minus 4. Do the opposite. That gives us m is equal to 7 add 4 is 11, and it gives us the same answer. So you can use it whichever method you prefer. Next, substitution. Work out the value of 2g squared plus 3h. Now when you get a question like this, always write out the substituted values into the expression. So we got 2g squared, so it'll be 2 times g is minus 2 squared plus 3 times h is 4, 3 times 4. Let's do BIDMAS. So brackets indices first. So 2 times minus 2 squared is minus 2 times by minus 2, which is positive 4. So it'll be 4. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 12. 4 times 2 is 8, and then plus 12, which gives us an answer of 20. Make sure you write down the values, and that could be worth a mark in your exam. So usually these type of questions are worth about 2 marks. Write down the value of 2 to the power minus 4 negative indices. So we know the rule, according to the rule of negative indices, you write it as 1 over. So 2 to the power of minus 4 is going to be equal to 1 over 2 to the power of 4, and 2 to the power of 4 is same as writing 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, so we write it out 4 times. So 2 times 4, 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So the answer is 1 over 16. Let's give you one more example on this, so that actually can get familiar with the rule. Let's say we have 3 to the power of minus 3, so you're going to write it as 1 over 3 cubed, and 3 cubed is 27, so the answer would be 1 over 27. Now because it's write down the values, you need to work out the actual value. Don't leave it as 1 over 3 cubed. Just make sure you write down what the value of 3 cubed is. Next, a number n is rounded to 2 decimal places. The result is 3.66. Using inequalities, write down the error interval for n. So we need to write down the error interval for n. So that means what is the maximum and minimum value we can have for n. Okay, so n can be greater than or equal to 3.655. 3.655. Now if you round 3.655 to 2 decimal places, if you round it, then we add 1 to that, so that becomes 3.66. So it can be equal to or greater than this value, but a value n can only be less than. And what is that possible value? Okay, so we can have 3.66 and another number, but it has to be less than that. If you write 3.664, then it leaves us with 3.66, but it cannot be less than that value. So we need to write a value above that, which is 3.665. Then if you round this, that becomes 3.67 to the 2 decimal places. So therefore we can only have a value less than that. Next, we have estimate for the mean of the weekly earnings, and we got class interval given. Now if you have class interval, you always need to find what the midpoint is. So let's extend the table and add 2 more columns. And let's call this midpoint, and this one will be midpoint times by frequency. So let's find the midpoints of 150, midpoint of 150 and 250. Between 150 and 250 will be 200. 250 and 350, midpoint is 300. And this one will be 400. 500 and 600. And then let's multiply the midpoint and frequency. So we'll multiply all of these. 1 times 200 is 200. 11 times 300 is 3,300. 5 times 400 is 2,000. And 0 times 500 is 0. 3 times 600 is 1,800. Now we need to add this value here and the total of frequency. So that gives us 7,300, and that gives us 20. Now to find the mean, we need to divide 7,300. So the mean is going to be 7,300 divided by 20, divided by 10, top and bottom. 2,730, 365. So the answer is £365. So the estimated for the mean, the weekly earning is £365. Make sure you show this little working out here, because that is your mark. You'll get the working out mark for this. Next, write 56 as a product of its prime factors. My favourite question. We always get one of these. So 56 as a product of prime factors. You can work out what the prime factors are first. So it'll be 2 times by 28. Circle the prime numbers because we are going to use these prime numbers later on. 2 times 14. Again, circle the prime number. 2 times 7. Prime number, prime number. Now for this type of question, I would suggest that you learn your prime numbers at least up to 30, because you get other prime number questions as well in your exam. So 56 can be written as the product of prime factors as 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. So because I circled them, I can easily see which prime numbers I need to use for my answer. So it's a good way to write your answer. And then if your question asks you to write as product of its prime factors in its powers, then you need to write as 2 cubed times by 7. Next, factorize fully. Now this is a very important word, factorize fully. I could get the answer without factorizing fully. I'll probably get 1 out of 2 marks. But if you factorize fully, you get 2 out of 2. So find the highest common factor. So that will be 7. And y squared, and y common factor is y. 28 divided by 7 is 4. Y squared divided by y is just y. Minus 21 divided by 7 is minus 3. Y divided by y is just 1. So answer is 7y brackets 4y minus 3. You can check your answer by multiplying them out. So if you multiply them, 7 times 4 is 28. Y times y is y squared. 7 times minus 3 is minus 21. 7y times minus 3 is minus 21y. So you can see you got the original question that we started off with, and we know the answer is right. It's always good to check your answer in the exam, so you don't want to make silly mistakes and lose marks. Write down the number of vertices of this 3D shape. So vertices are these little corners here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them. So we have vertices 8. You could also get asked how many edges it has. So edges. So these are the edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 edges. And also faces. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So faces, number of faces in this question is 6. Next question, write the fractions in order of size. Start with the smallest fraction. Now, because all the denominators are different, I would suggest make them into equivalent fractions. So find the denominator which is common of 4, 5, 6, and 15. So we can see 60 is a common denominator. So write 60. 60, 4 fractions with 60. 4 times 15 is 60, so 15 times 3, so I have to times it by 15. So that gives us 45. 5 times 12 is 60, so 12 times 2 is 24. 6 times 10 is 60, so that's 5 times 10 is 50. 15 times 4 is 60, 7 times 4 is 28. Now, because all the denominators are the same, we can compare the fractions by looking at the numerator now. So the smallest numerator we have here, 24 is 60. But when you write your answer, make sure you write down the original form and circle or cross out the fraction that you've already written so that you don't repeat that fraction again. So this is smallest. So 2 out of 5. Next one is 28. So it's this fraction here, 7 out of 15, 7 over 15. Next one is this one here, 3/4. And final one is this one here, which is 5/6. So we have ordered them, starting with the smallest first. The probability that a new fridge has a fault is 0.35. What is the probability that a new fridge does not have a fault? So we know the probability adds up to 1. So 1 minus 0.35. And 1 take away 0.35 is 0.65. Now, if it's a non-calculated question, then always try to make sure you get it right. If you're not sure if it's 0.65, then do the working 1.00 minus 0.35, and then do the working 0 too small, so let's borrow 1 from there. There's nothing there, so let's borrow 1 from here. So left 0 left here, we've got 1 here. I need to borrow 1 here, so borrow 1 here, left with 9. So 10 take away 5 is 5, 9 take away 3 is 6, and we've got 0 here, 0 take away 0 is 0, so 0.65. So always make sure you get these questions right. Usually worth about 2 marks, so you probably get 1 mark for working out, showing this working, or even this, and then 1 mark for the answer. Now, in the next video, I'm going to go through more questions, more exam style questions, so please do not forget to subscribe. And if you think that this video helped you, please hit the like button and leave a comment on the comment section what sort of video you would like to see for your revision in my next videos. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Mr. Mahmood, helping you do better in maths.